All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Kicking it with your girl. Now, look, this is Featherman. He is the senator of Pennsylvania, I believe, y'all. I seen a debate with him, and this debate was one of the ones where I was just like, oh, man, you know what I'm saying? I know that he's a Democrat. I don't know if he going towards being a Republican. I'm not sure, y'all. But I just know when I watched the debate, and a lot of you were saying that he was coming out of a stroke, and I was like, they're pulling strings and like literally have this man up here after trying to recover from a stroke and doing a debate, and at that time was not making any sense at all. Like, it was sad. It was sad to watch. It was sad to sit there and watch this, and that's what they do. They put strings on people and they play with their health. You know what I'm saying? And they do all this, and they don't care about the health issues or anything like that. As long as they can continue to try to keep power, that's all that matters. And they're going to use who and whatever they can to keep it. So it was really sad to watch and hard to watch. And I kind of felt like sorry for him. So with that being said, y'all, the title of this is I'm Not Rooting Against Him, John Fetterman on Trump's second term. Now, I don't know if he had anything, pertaining going against Trump or anything like that. Probably have to go back and read at that time, but I know he was a Democrat and he was, doing a debate, which was, like I said, hard to watch. So with that being said, y'all, we're going to go ahead and dive into the video. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, kicking it with your girl. Let's go.
I'll never forget. It was June in 2016, and I was a surrogate for Clinton, and Trump announced, "Hey, I'm showing up in a town called Menneson, which is a small steel town in the valley down from ours." And I'm like, why is he showing up in? I mean, that's not. So either he's crazy or they've plugged into something. They figured out that they have to connect. And to make that kind of an argument, to go to these kind of places, and it did. It resonated.
That was Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman on the Joe Rogan podcast shortly before the 2024 election, discussing why he thought Donald Trump was able to win his state in 2016. 2 years in the Senate, Fetterman has shown an independent streak. More recently, he's been willing to meet in person with Trump's top cabinet picks, including embattled Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth, and as we are first to report here this morning, he's also met with FBI pick Kash Patel. I met up with Senator Fetterman to discuss how he views his role as Donald Trump returns to Washington.
Are you going to be Donald Trump's favorite Democrat in the Senate?
I don't know what that really means. Because you never know. But what I am is I'm just a regular Democrat. I'm not leaving my party, but I'm not sure why some of the things.
Well, that answered my question. So he is remaining a Democrat, and he said he's not leaving the party. Okay, got it. Thank you.
That I've chosen to do, like meeting with nominees and having views that might be more aligned with some of the Republican side. I think that's part of politics. That's pretty much consistent with just doing the job and representing the kind of state that we have in Pennsylvania.
Looking forward, what are you most optimistic about with a Trump presidency, and what do you fear?
Well, it's like I've been warning people, like, you got to chill out. Like the constant, freak out. It's not helpful. So, pack a lunch, pace yourself, because he hasn't even taken office yet.
Do you think he has the potential to be a successful and a good president?
I hope, because I'm not rooting against him. If you're rooting against the president, you are rooting against the nation. And I'm not ever going to be where I want a president to fail. So country first. I know it's become maybe like a cliche, but it happens to be true.
What was the single biggest factor behind Kamala Harris and Democrats losing in November?
You have a singular political talent. It's undeniable.
Trump.
He had the energy and almost a sense of fearlessness to just say all those kinds of things. And people, it's undeniable that it has an entertaining aspect for that too. And just, if you're not afraid to say all of those things, and after you survived an assassination, you literally were shot in your head, and had the presence of mind to respond, fight, fight, fight. I mean, that's a political talent. It's undeniable. And also, I never believed that
The people were actually watching. Like, yes, like this man almost, if he wouldn't have turned his head, and y'all can go watch the videos. If that man wouldn't have turned his head, if Trump wouldn't have turned his head, that bullet would have hit straight through. But at that moment, when he turned his head, but God, it clipped the ear, or whatnot. And through all of that, you see him, he was still kind of like thrown off. He was just like, you know what I'm saying? And then they finally went up there and, put him down and stuff. And the first thing you do when you get up with blood gushing out from your ear is fight, fight, fight. Says a lot about you. Still didn't quit. Turned around and went right back to where they tried to take him out at. Come on now.
it was about fascism. And for me, that made it difficult for
Kamala Harris said that he was a fascist.
Yeah, well, it's like that's her prerogative. I mean, but it's not a word that I would use because you put a lot of Democrats, especially in my state, that I know and I happen to love people that are going to vote for Trump, and they are not fascist. And also fascism, that's not a word that regular people, use. That, I think people are going to decide who is the candidate that's going to protect and project, my version of the American way of life. And that's what happened.
I talked to a lot of Democrats before the election who were saying, we're going to win, Harris is going to win in Pennsylvania. But you saw this coming.
If you live in Pennsylvania and you spend time in Red County, Pennsylvania, as much as I did, the support's astonishing. I mean, I was driving home from Indiana County at 9 o'clock, and there was a Trump superstore on the side of a road. 9 o'clock on Friday night, and people are buying swag. And then that really crystallized at the assassination. And that was in Butler County, Western Pennsylvania, fairly close to where I live. And the day or two later, you start seeing people wearing shirts with that iconic picture, and the energy and the anger, and it's like, wow, I really thought. In fact, I thought that might be ball game, and then the second thing really, and that's when Musk and I. We're in the business. Surrogacy is part of it, and sometimes it really has much of an impact. But I knew that was going to be a special one. And
the endorsement by Elon Musk.
Yeah. Well, an endorsement and an active one, and I'm not even talking about his checkbook.
Yeah.
It's rare if you have a surrogate that has a lot of fanboys and is very compelling to a lot of the demographic that we are losing in our party and in Pennsylvania.
You think he would have won without Elon Musk?
Well, I'm not sure if we would have lost Bob Casey, but I do think Trump, it would have been closer. I really believe that it mattered. We lost Bob Casey for 15,000 votes. And I'm sure he did move the needle. It's undeniable.
How would you grade the Trump transition?
Well, I mean, it's not really a grade, but I'm saying this as a Democrat. It's like I clearly, after he announced Gates, and I'm like, that's just, I described that. That's God tier trolling. I mean, that was never serious. And anyone here in Congress knows that he's despised by Republicans too. So that also set the stage, and here's what's coming. And now I have met with all of them so far, and the ones that we haven't.
His nominees.
They're on the schedule back in January.
You met with Pete Hegseth.
I did, yeah.
You think he's qualified to be defense secretary?
Well, I think we're going to learn more. And that hearing, and there's going to be an FBI background and that.
Y'all, and I got a question on this, and this is a real question. So I see that Donald Trump is picking the people for his cabinet, right? Let me ask y'all this. Being that he's a president, is it solid? His picks are solid? Or do they have to go through like this whole background through other people and stuff before they actually qualify for the position? Please let me know that, because that's something I've been thinking about. I'm like, well, it's the president of the United States and he picks his people, so it's solid. Or do they have to go through this whole process before they actually get to be the pick, if that makes sense. Please, somebody drop it down in the comment section and let me know how that works. Okay. Thank you.
But, my commitment, and I think I'm doing the job, is I'm going to sit down and have a conversation. And the president picked these people, not going to be my first choice, second choice, third choice, but that's democracy. And to me, it would be distressing if he is confirmed, if the Democrats are going to turn our back collectively to the leader of the defense. That's astonishing and that's dangerous.
So you see yourself inclined to be open to supporting these controversial nominees. You might not support them all, but you see yourself
potentially.
Yeah.
But there is going to be some that I will vote yes, and there's some maybe that I'll vote no.
Well,
but nobody can accuse me.
I guess to answer my question, so they're gonna have a chance to vote for these people, and if not, these people they don't become what the next cabinet. What they do, he has to find other people. I think he answered my question, y'all. But somebody break it down in the comment section for me. I think I'm figuring it out a little bit. Let's get it.
Me of just saying I had a closed mind, or I just said no because Trump picked this person, or whatever.
I saw you, Elise Stefanik, you have said you're going to vote for her. I saw you with her thumbs up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well,
so
and Rubio. For me, it's like, Rubio, for me, it's like he's in the other party, obviously. But there's a lot of the Venn is closer. There's a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
And now if I was, as a Democrat, looking to assemble a bipartisan cabinet, he'd be a solid choice, from a Democrat.
You met with Kash Patel, I believe, right?
Yesterday. Well, yes.
He's talked about going after Trump's enemies.
Yeah, and we've had conversations, but we had all of these interviews were all off the record, and those things. So I'm not going to go into detail, but he absolutely that's never going to happen. Like he was very.
He's not going to use the FBI to go after Trump's enemies.
Like, no, that's not it. Or
did you believe him?
Taken.
I mean, he's written a lot.
Like that's what he claims.
Yeah.
And I found out, his family's origin story and immigration, and we talked about that. And my family immigration and things. And so I learned things about him. I never knew that he was a public defender.
So did you come across liking Kash Patel more than you thought you would? Thinking you could support him?
It's how much you can absorb in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I have learned things, and I have heard things, and I have no regrets for having these. I never left any of those interviews saying, wow, that was a waste of time, or I regret that.
Have you talked to Trump since the election?
I have not. I have not, no.
So I assume he's going to call you at some point. What is your message to him after he sees this?
What would I say to him? I'd be like, well, congratulations, and have an honest conversations of things we could work together, and some things we're going to disagree. I'd like to avoid the cheap heat and some of the other stuff, but it's going to be a kooky ride, I'm sure. And I try to be a committed, steady voice for Pennsylvania, and to remember that we have to find as many wins in the middle of an incredibly divisive times.
All right, our thanks to Senator Fetterman.
Pretty dope, y'all. And the thing is, I'm so glad that he was able to recover and heal. You know what I'm saying? Because here, this was easy to watch. It was actually satisfying. And I mean, like I'm saying, he's a Democrat. He said he's not changing over his party, but he is willing to, abide by policy and not just the party, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? They believing to come in to, all on one accord. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's not about the left or the right. It's about the policies and the people in our country coming together and trying to figure out, yes, we're going to agree to disagree to agree, but hopefully we can get to a point where we can agree and not attack each other in our own country. That's the crazy part. Why are we fighting each other in our own country? We need to be building, coming together and figuring out ways of how to get out of debt, You know what I'm saying? And figure out how to protect our homeless, our veterans. You know what I'm saying? Our country. Things like that. That's what we need to be focusing on. So I actually enjoyed watching this. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, that debate was horrible, y'all. It was sad to watch. So I can see now that he has and makes a lot of sense now. He had time to heal, recover. I mean, it is a reason why he is descendant of, Pennsylvania. So shout out to Fetterman. You know what I'm saying? And hey, it is what it is. Now, I do need that answer, though, so I'm taking it. So Trump picks who he picks, and then they do have to go through this whole process is what I'm getting. I just never really, that question just came up in my mind. I'm just like, how does that work? So drop it in the comment section. Y'all let me know. I appreciate y'all for the love and support. I love y'all. Thank y'all. Until the next reaction, be safe. Remain safe. I'm up out of here. All right? Y'all be good.